Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on our hero page logic and user, actually just our hero page UI UX and the backend component, and we're going to also start our chat application. So with all that said, let's sign right into our application. There we go. So right now, as you can see, there's nothing in the hero page because we have an account with a active profile. We're not routed to this profile page, so we're routed right to this hero page, as you can see, /hero. So with that said, let's get into our logic. Okay, so now we're in our server component. Well, we're in our server folder, and we're going to be creating something called exports.heroPage. So this is going to be our hero page controller, and this is going to be manipulating data from our database and creating an algorithm that's going to have certain things populated in our front end hero section. We're going to be sending that algorithm, not the algorithm, but we're going to be sending the logic here. We're going to be using this logic here to send information to our front end. So with all that said, let's get right into the logic. So right now we have exports.heroPage equals async request and response. And what we want to do next is say const user ID is equal to request user ID. And remember, we're getting a user ID all the way from where is it? Authenticate. So we want to keep moving, and we're going to do that. Now we're going to say if const user is equal to await user.find by ID. We're going to be using the username, well, user ID, to find that dot populate, and we're going to have profile. So let's make sure that's in lowercase. Yep, it's supposed to be lowercase. So we're creating this user variable that's basically saying access our database, our user database, and find use this ID and then populate the profile pertaining to that user ID. So that's the first step. And now we're gonna say if, actually this should be try, not if, sorry. Try, and this should be catch. Let's put error in here. Okay, let's do this over because it's easier just to do it this way. Try catch, cool, and we're missing this. Awesome. So now we're gonna say const user is equal to await. So it's the same thing. User find user dot find by ID, user ID dot populate profile. And we're going to say if there's no user, so if we can't find a user, then we want to say return res.status 400.json message user not found. Cool. And now we can say const user birth date is equal to new date. So if there is a user, we're going to say user, we're going to create this variable called user birth date, and the birth date will be what's within the profile, what's within the user profile. So user.profile.birth date. And remember, if you go back to our database, and within our profile, there's a birth date assigned to it. So now we're gonna start writing out parts of the algorithm. So within our algorithm, what we want to say is, so if we open, let's actually open our original. So this is my main one. So clear clear, npm run start, npm run dev, and we're going to open this on 3000. So if I open this test at test.com test, so as you can see, a bunch of stuff populates here, but what is actually going on is, although all these are within the database, the way I set my algorithm up is that there is a plus and -5 age discrepancy. So when you set up a profile, the only things you're able to see are +5 and -5 when you come back to the hero page. So for example, 26, 23, 28, 23, 23, 26, 24, 26, 25. These are all the ages, right? But that's not all the ages of people within my database. These are just the ages within the algorithm that I've set. So if I'm 30, I'm only able to see people who are 35 and people who are 25 populate on my screen, because then it gives a fair advantage when I want to play, when I want to message someone to play a sport. So if I'm saying, hey, if I say, hey, this test 2 person is 26 female, and I'm like, hey, I would want to play with this person because they're also a beginner and they have an availability when I'm available, right? Then I'm able to just find this person within the chat and just talk to them. However, if I just populate every single person from the database, it's going to be a lot harder to just sort through them because it's so many people. And I wouldn't want someone who's 90 being matched up with someone who's 26. So that's what we're doing here. We're giving it a threshold, and we're going to work within that threshold. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We can go ahead and close this. And we can go ahead and do this and do that. And just clear, and we just minimize this. So now const age threshold would be 5 because we're working with +5 -5, and a const min birth date. So the minimum birth date that it could be would be new date, and this would be user dot birth date. So the minimum birth date would be the birth date within the database. So it'll be user user birth date, not user dot birth date. How did I spell it? User birth date. There we go. So it would be that. And now, if I now say min birth date dot set full year user birth date dot get full year minus age threshold. So we're saying get the full year of the birth date, and then we're going to be using that user birth date and subtracting it by the age threshold. So if you were born in 1990, then -5 minus the threshold would tell me that the minimum birth date would be 1985. So that's what this is saying. And now we can work with const max age, max birth date is equal to new date, user birth date. And we're just doing the same thing, except for the max, we're going to be using addition. That's set full year, user birth date, dot get full year, plus age threshold. Now, this is just a simple algorithm, simple algorithm logic that I'm going to be using to get the data I want. You can play with this however you want. If you're going to make a project out of this, this is just the simplest thing I can think of, while also showing you how to manipulate the database. So we're going to go further and manipulate the database, but this is the easiest thing I can think of, +5 -5. If you want to do something more advanced with it, you can by all means go ahead, but for right now I'm just going to do this. So now we can come down, and all we have to do is say const profile. So we have to create a profile, what's it called? Profile variable, and say is equal to await profile. So we're going into the profile database. Dot find, and we're going to be saying birth date. And now we're going to be using some database terms. So we're going to say $GTE min, and we're going to explain what this is doing in a second, and $LTE max birth date. Okay, we can just close this. We already have a closing one there, and comma. So actually, seems like we did something wrong here. Let's see. If user, where's this closing? So this shouldn't be here. It should be over here. There we go. I was wondering why it looked dull. Let's brighten this up. Okay. So now what this is saying is now we're gonna the GTE and LTE are a way to query their keywords. Let's use that term, I guess, to query the database, to query our MongoDB, and it means greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So we're asking a database that, hey, can you get the minimum birth date and the maximum birth date? So greater than or equal to the minimum birth date or less than or equal to the maximum birth date within the profile. So we're just querying it. So this is basically the algorithm at work. And now, one step further, what we want to say is we want to pretty much, let's come here. Let's come down here. We want to pretty much exclude our own profile from showing up. So you don't want, like when I showed you the hero page on the actual on the main project that I built before this, my own profile did not show up because it will be redundant. You don't want to see your own profile within the cards. So what you want to say is const filtered profiles is equal to profile. Where is it? Profile. Well, it should be profiles with an S. Let's see. So this should be profiles because it's not a singular profile. So let's say profiles. Okay, so something's wrong somewhere. Okay, that would make sense. That's because it shouldn't be within this. Actually, we don't need that. So yeah, it should be just here.
Music licensing reimagined.
And this should say const filtered profiles is equal to profiles. There we go. Dot filter. And we're going to be filtering using profile as the keyword, as the variable, sorry, and profile. So it will be profile dot user to string. So we're going to change everything to a string, and it's going to say profile user dot to string does not equal user ID. So it doesn't equal your own user ID. So we're not going to be populating our own profile data. So now status is equal to res.status 200, and this would be .json filtered profiles. Is it filtered?
Licensing reimagined.
There we go, filtered profiles. So now let's lint this. There we go. We can now say console dot error is error, and res.status of 500.json message server error. Cool. Yeah, so this is pretty much all we need to do. So all these are just spelling errors, not necessarily errors, but spelling. And this is all we need for our hero page. So now we can come over to our routes. Let's get over here, and we're gonna say route.get. Let's put hero page here. Route.get /hero comma. We have to use authenticate so we can get that user info, and plus we need it authenticated, and this would be hero controller hero page. So we're all set, and close that out. And yeah, so we're all set with our hero page controller. So if we close out of that, now we can come into our hero page, and I was already tinkling around with this, so let's just close this and start over. And I'm just gonna start here and do this. So if we look at our hero page now, let's see, let's give it a class name with a padding of 12 like we did earlier. Yep, it's right there. So, and we're still logged in, so we can see it right there. So now we can actually build out the hero page. Okay, so for our hero page, we're gonna have to import a couple of things. So we're gonna say import React, and here we're just gonna use effect and use state from React, and we're gonna say import use auth. Well, use use auth from auth context. We're gonna use Axios, so import Axios. From Axios. So it should be Axios.
Music licensing.
And now we're gonna be using pagination. So we're gonna import pagination from. So I don't know if we installed it together earlier, but if you come over to Google and put material UI, stay signed out. If you do that, you can come over to this and just install. So just grab this, close out of that, and all you would have to do is install it here. So I already have mine installed, but it doesn't matter. You can always reinstall it. It doesn't really do anything if it's already installed. Okay. All right. So we have an error here somewhere. Oh, we're having this JWT token error again. It should have been fixed. Okay, so there is something wrong somewhere. So let's close out of this. Let's close out of that. Start npm run dev. Okay, so let's see if we're able to log in first. Test at test.com, test at test.com, test 1. There we go. So now we're good. I don't know why we're getting this error though.
Music licensing reimagined.
Yeah, I don't know why we get that error, but let's just finish with this, and if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. So for right now, let's just leave it at that because everything seems to be working. So when we import pagination from that, it's just so we can actually have pagination. So we're gonna say at material MUI/material, and we're gonna use the pagination folder, and we're gonna bring this down 1. And now we're gonna use something called stack as well. Let's use pagination as a capital and then stack, and you're gonna see what this does by the end. So we're gonna do that. So now we have this. we are also going to be using use navigate. So import use
Artlist.io.
navigate from React router DOM. Cool. Okay, so now what we want to do is, let's see, so rather than jump around. Okay,
Music
so
licensing
let's
reimagined.
come over to hero page here, and we're going to be saying const user. So we're going to just and this is going to be from what's it called, use auth, save. Let's see, is everything still copacetic? Inspect. Let's see our console.
Artlist.io.
So let's sign out. And let's try that again. Test at test.com. Test 1. Yeah, we're not having any errors, so I don't know why. That's probably some glitch or bug somewhere, because it did that last time and it still worked. So I don't know. We'll come back to it later. So let's just focus on this. Const user, use auth, const data, set data is equal to use state. So we're going to be using an array for that. So we're going to be setting up our use state, and this should be sort option. And by seeing sort option, you should know that we're going to be using creating our sort feature on the application. So use state, and voila, const current page set current page is equal to use state and
Music
one
licensing reimagined.
const online users set online users. So this is going to be for our chat feature as well. Set online user maybe. So let's keep going. So let's see, current page. Yeah, current page should be 1. And then online users should be an empty array, because it's going to hold an array of users that are online. Profile per page, we set that to 0, so that's going to be for our pagination. And now we can say const navigate is equal to use navigate. There we go. And now we can get our data. So const fetch data. So we're getting our data from that backend that we just created. The sync. And we're going to say try catch. Const profile data is equal to await axios.get /user /hero. That's what we set it at. And then we're going to set data profile data dot data, and catch error is going to say console.log, well, console.error, error fetching data error. Cool. So now what we can now do is use useEffect
Music licensing reimagined.
to get that data. And we're gonna say fetch data and give it an empty array dependency. Cool. So now let's see if we actually get something. So console.log data, and let's see if we get anything. Yep.
Artlist.io.
So we get nothing because I believe in our database we only have one person created. So it's not gonna send you your own data back. So over time, actually we can just do that right now. So let's log out. And what age did we set this to? Birth date is Oh, 1998, Halloween of 1998. That's what we set it to. So now we have to create at least two more. One more, but let's create two more. So this would be test 2, test 2 at test.com, test 2, submit. Okay, let's close out of that. So here, let's figure out the backup. So this has to be in proximity with that for within at least 5 years. So we use 1998. So let's go back 5. So 1998, 1, 2, 3. Well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1993. And let's just do the same thing. Yeah, October 15, whatever. Today. That was not what I wanted to do. So 1998, let's go over to 1993, October 31st. Let's go with that. Gender, I think we picked male last time. So here, let's just go this. Let's do Sunday, whatever. Time looking to play, let's pick that. So just looking at this profile, you can, like I was saying with the algorithm, you can pick whatever. You can select the algorithm to say, hey, if you're a female, male, other, whatever, with the rating within this rating, you can play with the algorithm, and that's proprietary information. If you're able to figure something out and commercialize it, it's yours. So now we can save profile. So that saves. And let's create one more. So let's log out. So that was test 2. And now if we register test 3 at test.com, well, just test 3 at test.com, test 3, submit. Let's close. This is going to say test 3 back up. And now let's pick. So that was 1998, and let's go 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's pick 03, and we're just gonna pick October 15 or 16, whatever. And this one we're gonna pick other, and rating here, whatever, and we're gonna say Monday, Thursday, Saturday. And this one's gonna be 5 to 9. And now, now. Does it say test 3? Yep. Now we save that. So now we have 3, right? So if we come back and let's log out, clear this. So log in. If we log back into test at test.com, test 1, we should have, whoa, it's still saying 0. Why? So hopefully it's not because of that. So /hero
Artlist.io.
Interesting. Okay, let's go back to our backend. Auth controller. User not found. Else, if we have the user, blah blah blah.
Artlist.io.
So we're sending back the filtered profiles. So let's see. Network. That's why so it is not working. So the user info for some reason is not working again. So let's see. Why is that so?
Reimagined.
Why is user information, user info keep doing that? So let's go to our routes. Maybe we did something here that wasn't supposed to be done. User info, hero.
Artlist.io.
Let's do that again. Authenticate. So let's try it now. So let's close out of this. Let's close out of that.
Music licensing reimagined.
Click that. And with this. And let's just clear that cache. Cool. Now Let's open that back up. Okay, clear npm run start, clear npm run dev.
Artlist.io.
Okay, so far so good. So far so good. So let's log in. Test at test.com. Test 1. Let's open this
Music
console.
licensing reimagined.
Network. Console. Okay, so I don't see any errors. Cool. So we just have to, I guess, close it out and open it back up. So now, let's go to our console. We still get 0 for some reason. So network. Console. Let's see. Let's try that again.
Artlist.io.
So /hero. User /hero. Data. So let's see. Network.
Artlist.io.
Okay. So we're getting a status code of 304 instead of status code of like 200. You know what I'm saying? So let's see why. So
Music
hero.
licensing reimagined.
It's saying no properties. So let's go back here and let's refresh this. So 1 of 3, right? And let's come back here. So user info.
Artlist.io.
Let's log out. Test at test.com. Test 1. Hero's giving me a 304.
Music licensing reimagined.
Console. It's giving me nothing. So let's look at this again. So let's go back to our auth controller. So it's console.log user ID.
Artlist.io.
Let's see if we get anywhere with that. So let's log out. Test at test.com. Test 1. Yeah, so that works. So we are getting a user ID.
Music licensing reimagined.
Let's see. Okay, guys. So after much debugging, we were able to figure out what the problem is, and now you can see this is coming up how it's supposed to come up. So the problem was everything within this code is fine. This is all just done because of debugging. So I didn't want to bore you with debugging process. So all this is fine.
Artlist.io.
The problem was within the model for not user, for profile.js, this was set originally to string. The birth date was set to string rather than date. So it needs to be a date constructor. So this has to be date. So the type has to be date, not string. So when you change that to date, go ahead and save that, and then you're gonna have to go over to your database. So as you can see, I had to delete the database. So you have to delete profile and users. Just make sure you're logged out of here first so you don't get errors. So log out of this, go to your database and delete the profiles. Just delete the whole profiles here and delete the whole users here. And then remake your re-register. And when you re-register, let me just do this so I can show you. So actually, we're just gonna do it together. So let's go ahead and log out, and then delete the profiles. So profiles, We're gonna drop that, and then users, we're gonna
Artlist
drop that.
IO.
Okay, so now for this, we're just gonna go over to register. So all you have to do is make sure within your model, within profile, birth date's changed to date. If not, you're gonna have problems. So that's the only bug we had. Type is date. And now you can come over to Chrome, and we're gonna say first name test. It's just test at test.com, test 1, and submit. Okay, and now we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna, I think we said this was 1998. Let's see, 1998, and this was the 31st. Gender male, rating 2-5, and Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Playtime 12 to 4. We're gonna save that. Now we're gonna log out and create another user. So this user is gonna be test2 at test.com, test2. And then okay. Same thing here. So let's make 3 users actually, and then birthday. So it's gonna be within 5 years of 1998, I think. So 1, 2, 3. Let's just make it. Let's go back first. So 1998. Let's go 1995, and October. That's fine. Let's just pick 15, whatever. Female, rating, and let's give her a 3-5. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Time to play 12 to 4. Well, let's pick the morning. Save. Now we're gonna log. So as you can see, it's already populating that for us. Now we can log out and register one more person. This is gonna be test3. Test3 at test.com. Test3. Gonna submit that. Okay, we're gonna close that. Same process. Backup. Now we're gonna go younger, and we're gonna say 2000, and let's just pick 2000. Actually, well, 2001. That's fine. We're gonna just pick October, a day before Halloween. And then other rating would be like 4 or 5. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and this would be 5 to 9, and we save. So now within our database, if we refresh it, we have 3 profiles and 3 users. So both 3. Let's go back to profiles, and if we, so nothing's console login here, but if we go back to our, let's close this and let's close that. If we go back to this, you can see we're console login. So let's just come back here, console.log data. And if you come over here, you'll see that it's gonna show to where is it?
Artlist.io.
35, blah, 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 test.com. Wait, what are we signed in as? Test3, that's why. So let's log out and let's log back in. Is test at test.com, test1. There we go. So as you can see, we have two objects. So we have test2 and we have test3. So we're not going to have 3 items populate. We're not going to have 3 items within the array, because we're not going to, based on this code here in auth controller, this filter, we're not going to populate our own profile, because that would be redundant. So it's just stupid. So there's no point in doing that. So we have this, and that's pretty much it. So that's all we had to do. So the bug just came from remember, just go over to your model. Where is it? And within profile, change birth date to type date. If not, it's going to be a problem. So we can carry on. So we have console log data, so we don't need that anymore. We know it does work. And now, since we have this done, let's just create our handle change. So
Music
const
licensing
handle sort.
reimagined.
So we're gonna have a sort feature. Change is equal to E, and this is gonna say set sort option e.target.value. Is that what we had? Set
Artlist.io.
sort. There we go. So e.target.value, and here we're gonna have a handle page change for the pagination. Handle page change is gonna equal E, and it's gonna be
Music
actually this should
licensing
be
reimagined.
to value. So whatever value it is, and then this would be set current page to value. Cool. So that's pretty much it for right now. And now we're gonna be sorting. Let's actually come over here. Okay, so we want to be able to sort our data
Artlist.io.
within at the top of our screen. So let's come over here. Let's go over to match project, and let's go clear npm run start, clear npm run dep.
Music licensing
So if we
reimagined.
open this and we sign in, test 1 at test.com. I believe this is test 1 at test.com. Test 1. Whoa there. Test at test.com. Test. There we go. So as you can see here, we have a sort
Artlist.io.
feature. So you can sort by online, name, age, rating, gender, availability. So that's the feature we want to implement here. So we just go ahead and log out of here and close that and open this back up. So actually for match project, let's go over to
Artlist.io.
our console log, just so we could take this out. It's bothering me. So let's go over here, clear and clear. Cool. So
Music
we can just minimize this.
licensing reimagined.
So that's what we're trying to accomplish. So for the age, the age is going to be a little tricky because we have to be able to calculate the age. We're not having the age get sent back. So in our database, the age is stored as birth date, not age. So in order to convert that to an age, what you need to do is come over here and just say const calculate age is equal to, we're going to be using the birth date, and const today is equal to new dates. So we're getting today's date and we're going to use that. So you do some math to calculate what the age is, and the birth date
Music licensing
is going to
reimagined.
be new date, and we're taking that birth date. Let's change this to capital D. Yeah, so that's better. Now we're gonna say let age. So we're using let instead of const because we want to be able to change the property later on. So we're gonna say today dot get full year. Get full year. Subtracted by birth date dot get full year. Okay, hopefully this is making sense because it's just you're just subtracting today's date by the birth date that you get, so that you're getting from the database. So now you want to say const month difference. So the difference within the month, today dot get month minus birth date dot get month.
Artlist.io.
Cool. So now we want to write the logic that says if month difference is less than 0, or let's put parentheses, month difference is equal to 0, and today dot get date is less than birth date dot get date. Let's see. Then we want to say
Music licensing
age.
reimagined.
So subtract the age by 1, and you want to return age. Okay, so let's break down what this means. So what we're saying here is we want to get the current date here. So today's date, we want to get that. And then we want to convert the birth date to a date object. So we're taking our birthday and we're converting it to a date object. And then for this, we're checking to see if the well, here we're just getting the year difference. So we're just getting the age by subtracting the birth year from the current year. That's all we're doing here for the age. And then in this one, this is the one that's a little tricky. Here we're trying to see if the birth date has already occurred or within the year. So if the month is already passed for the birthday to occur. So if it's 2024 and you're born in January, but it was like January 3rd or something, technically your birthday's passed. You want that updated that updated age. You don't want to say because you're born in January you're this age. It's like, all right, but what if you have an early or late birthday, or early or late birthday within the month? So that's what you're looking for. So the logic is saying if the birth month, so we're using birth month difference. So if the birth month is in the future or within that same month, but the birthday, the day itself, not the birth month, just the birthday, is in the future, then we want to decrease that age by 1 year. Yeah, that's pretty much all this logic is saying. And then we're gonna just return that age. So that's practically all that's going on right now. So now we have our age, and this calculate age function is gonna work for whatever. Since it's a function, you just plug it in and it's going to work for whatever data that we get from the backend that has this birthday parameter within it. So as long as this birthday parameter is there, it's just going to grab it and like go to work. So we have this, and now we can create our sort feature. So we're going to be using this, this sort option state. So now we can come down here and we can say const sorted data is equal to, it's a arrow function, and we're going to use switch. So it's just a more efficient way of doing it. And so we're going to switch and we're going to use sort option. And sort option is this. So set sort option is e.target.value. So we're using sort option here, and that's set sort option. So here we're going to say if we have the case of age, if we have age, then we want to return data. This has to be that. Yep, return data dot slice dot sort. And I believe we did switch a while back when I first started making videos. Actually, well, this is not what I wanted to do. So this would just say calculate age. There we go. And now we have to write the logic for the calculate age, for the sorting of calculate age. So we're gonna say calculate age, a dot birth date minus calculate age, b dot birth date. And just like that, we figured out our we're done with our age. So we just have to do this. So let's see if we can make this look better. Cool. So this is all we're doing, and all it's saying is grab the age. So we're just comparing birthday of a dot birthday and subtracting it from b dot birthday, and that's gonna be able to sort our profiles when it's rendered on the hero page. It's gonna sort it by what's it called, by ascent. Is it gonna be ascending order? Ascending from the smallest to the biggest. Yeah. So that should be how it sorts it. And now we can make another case. So we're gonna say case, and we're gonna use a rating. So we're gonna grab rating, and rating just comes straight from the database. So we don't really have to do much with that. And it's the same thing. It's just gonna return data dot slice dot sort a b, and we're gonna do the same thing. And for this one, we're gonna use parse float, and we're gonna say a dot it's basically what you see here. It's a string that contains a floating point number, so it converts a string to a float, basically. So that's all we're doing, because in the database, rating is saved as a string. So if it was saved as a float or whatever, then you don't need this, but it's saved as a string, so you need to change it. Okay, so a dot rating, and then minus parse float b dot rating, and just like that, we're done with that also. So let's link that. Cool.
Music licensing reimagined.
Now we have another case. And this one's going to be availability. Availability. There we go. That was a little embarrassing. I have to sound that out. Data dot slice dot sort. Once again, it's going to be a b, and this is just like standard sorting procedure. You don't really have to do much. So this one's going to be a function. It's going to be, yeah. So here you're going to say const time to play, because the availability is going to be time to play. And did I just say availability saved? No. So the availability is going to be time to play within the database. So this is going to be time to play comparison, whatever, is equal to a dot time to play dot locale compare. Okay, so time to play dot locale compare, and then we're gonna say b dot time to play. So now the logic is saying if time to play does not equal 0, then we want to say return time to play comparison. And if not, if it is equal to 0, then return a dot selected days
music licensing reimagined.
Compare b dot selected days. Let me just make sure of something real quick. In the database, what do we have it as? Yeah, so we're using both time to play here and selected days. So we're using them together. So here we're saying for the comparison, we're going to say a dot time to play local compare b dot. So we're comparing it to b dot time to play. So if time to play does not equal 0, then we're going to return this. We're just going to compare these two, a dot time to play and b dot time to play. If it does, so if time to play does equal 0, then we're just going to return a dot selected days, selected days dot local compare, and compare it to select b dot selected days. So if basically what we're saying is if time to play is not equal to 0, then we're just comparing time to play A and time to play B. If it does equal to 0, then we're saying just selected days, and so we're comparing selected days and selected days. That's pretty much it. So now we have to do, I believe, 1 or 2 more. So there it is. So now we have another case. And this case is name. Here we're going to return data.slice. So same procedure. So this is pretty standard. I think I've already said that for just sorting. It's nothing. We're not really reinventing the wheel here. If you Google this, if you Google any kind of sorting, whatever, you pretty much probably find the same style of the same type of sorting logic. So here it's going to say a. So here you're sorting the name. So you're just going to take first name, local compare, and compare it to b dot first name. Okay, b dot first name. And the logic here is going to say, let's just use case. So here we're saying if we don't have anything, so basically it's what's going on right now? Oh, that's why. So case reimagined. Empty string, so meaning we're not comparing anything really. Hold up. What is going on right now? Oh. Case, empty string, return. That's why this shouldn't be this. It's just the case. I don't know why I kept doing that. So case, empty string, return, return. Let's put default here first. So default. So this is the default because the case is empty, and we're just gonna return the data. So whatever data we're getting, we're just gonna return that data. And that's pretty much it for our sorting. So yeah, now we can come to this return and just build our interface out and see what the user is going to be seeing. Okay, so now what we want to do is finish this return. So here we're going to take out this P12 and we're going to replace it with flex call, min height screen, background green 100. So the whole screen goes to 100. The whole screen goes green 100. And now we're gonna. That is my dog having a great time. So let's see. So here in this div, we're gonna say class name as well. It's gonna be pattern top of 16, pattern right of 3, text 3 vmin, text right, font bold, capitalized, text green of 800. Now we can say hi, comma, user. And there we go, hi test. So after doing such, we can come back down here, open up another div, class name, and this is gonna have text left with a padding left of 2. And for this, we're gonna have our label, and our label is gonna be sort by. But before that, let's do this: margin right of 2, text green of 800, and this should say sort by. There we go. And now we can place our sort option in there. So label, and now select value. This should say sort option. Cool. And we should have it on change of handle sort change. Class name, background green of 200. Now we're keeping things green because of the tennis theme, so you can choose whatever colors you want. So now we're gonna have the option value, and this should just be empty strings, class name,
artlist.io.
It should be equal to text green, 800, and since this option is just an empty string, this should just say sort. Cool. Now what we can do is just bring these down a couple, and rather than this be an empty string, this is going to be online, and we're gonna make that option. We're gonna create that logic in a little while, but let's just put that as online. Name, so let's change that to name. This one's gonna be age. We're gonna change that to age. This one's gonna be rating.
Artlist.io.
And this one's gonna be gender. Cool. Okay, one more. We're just gonna give it availability. I think that's what we called it here, right? Yep, availability. And it should say ability. Cool. So if we do this, we should have all this. So with online, we're not going to do it right at this second. When we start setting up our chat feature, then we'll be able to implement that. But for right now, let's just finish up this return. So div comes here. Cool. So now I'm gonna say div class name, and now we're gonna build out the actual interface. So grow grid
music licensing
grid
reimagined.
calls 1 medium screen grid column 3 gap of 4 pattern of 5. Yep, I'm just gonna close that. And here we're gonna have the logic data dot length when is 0. So when data dot length is greater than 0, then we want to show current profile dot map. So let's see.
Music licensing reimagined.
Okay, so actually we forgot a piece of logic. I thought we could just come back to it later, but we're gonna have to do it now. So when we have this current page and profile per page. So this is all for our pagination, right? So by having that, we have to write the logic first before we're able to populate what we need onto the screen. So let's go ahead and do that. So actually, I'm just gonna copy that logic. So let's come down here. Yeah, so this is the logic. We're just gonna copy this logic. Just put it side by side. So that way we don't have any errors, since it's just this little piece right here. It's like 5 lines or 6 lines. So let's go over to here. And let's take this out first. Cool. And now let's come back over here. And now we can say const index, and I'll explain this in a second, of last profile is equal to current page times profiles per profile per page. So that should say profiles per page. And let's change that here. Profiles per page. And const index of first profile is equal to index of last profile minus profiles per page. And like I said, I'll explain it once we're done. So const current profile is equal to sorted data dot slice, and within slice we're going to say index of first profile and index of last profile, and that's it. So let's minimize this, and then okay, so what this is saying is for this variable index of last profile, we're calculating the index of the last profile on the current page. So for example, if the current page is 2 and the profile per page is 10, then index of last profile is 20. So the same thing goes for index of first profile. So here we're calculating the index of the first profile on the current page. So if index of last profile, like we said, is 20 and the profile per page is 10, then we're just going to subtract index of last profile by from profile. So we're just going to do index of last profile minus profiles per page, and that's going to give us 10 if the index of last profile is 20 and the profile per page is 10. Then we just get 10 as the index of the first profile. So here we're saying sorted data, which we already know what that means. So current profiles is equal to sorted data dot slice. So slice is saying that it's just creating a new array called current profiles by taking a slice of the original array, and then within the slice we're saying it should include the profile starting from the index of the first profile and up, but we're not including the index of the last profile because that's kind of what slice does. So once you see it populate, it'll make more sense, but I hope that was logical enough, the explanation. It's literally what, like, it's explained as written. So let's go down here now, and now we're able to say data.length. If data.length is greater than 0, then cool. So here we're gonna say current page dot map, and let's give this profile, and here let's give this p of loading. Let's say here Let's give div.
Artlist.io.
Okay, so that works. Yeah, so let's fill this in first. So we're saying if data.length is greater than 0, then we're gonna do this. We're gonna map through it, map through current page. Else, we're just gonna show load in here. So
Music licensing
in order to do
reimagined.
this, what we're gonna say is div key profile dot id. Okay, and class name, we're gonna say background white, pattern of 3, margin of 1, rounded
Artlist.io.
to Excel, shadow to Excel, transition, ease in out, hover, scale 90. The border would be border green,
Artlist.io.
500. Cool, now let's see. Okay, so let's keep going. We can have H1
Music
here,
licensing reimagined.
and class name is going to be text XL. Font is going to be bold. Margin bottom of 2. Text center. Capitalize. Pattern of 2. Text of green. 800. And here we're going to have
Artlist.io.
profile dot first name. So let's see now if that works. Okay, so what's the problem? Inspect console. Current page dot map is not a function. Okay,
Music licensing reimagined.
let's see. Current page dot map. Oh, it should mean current page, should be current profile. Cool. So let's see if this works now. There we go. So we have profile dot first name. Why aren't we seeing anything? Okay, so let's go up here.
Artlist.io.
So current page is 1. We're not using this. Profile. Oh yeah, this shouldn't be 0. This should be 9. There we go. Yeah, so our profiles per page, we want 9 profiles on the page, not 0. So that's why that's happening. I was like, why is it not
Music
doing that?
licensing
So now we have
reimagined.
profile. So here only 2 is going to show because we only have 2 coming back. So we have profile dot first name, and then H1. So after profile dot first name, we're gonna have another div. Wait, we'll just okay.
Artlist.io.
Div. Cool. And within this div, we're just gonna say class name text is center. Yep. And here we're gonna say p class name padding 1 text green 800. We're gonna have age, and the age is just gonna be an empty string. Cool. And now for the age, we're gonna have
Music
span
licensing reimagined.
right after the p. So span class name, we're gonna say let's see, we don't really need a class name. Let's just have it as span, because it wouldn't matter, it's within the div regardless. So let's say
Artlist.io.
Let's put in parentheses like so. And let's say calculate age. And this is going to be profile dot birth date. Did we use capital?
Music licensing.
There we go.
Reimagined.
Actually, so we don't really need this part actually. So test 2, age is 28 and age over there is 22. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so now we can have another p tag, and this is gonna say p class name pattern of 1.
Artlist.io.
Let's see, pattern 1. We're just gonna go with the same thing. Text green 800, and this should say gender.
Music licensing reimagined.
Span class name, and for gender we don't actually need a class name again. Gender, we're just gonna say profile dot gender. Cool. And as you can see, it just populates as we go. So P, now we're gonna have another P.
Artlist.io.
This is gonna be class name. Same thing, text green 800, and this is gonna say rating. Cool. And we're gonna have the same thing,
Artlist.io.
and this is gonna say profile dot rating. Nope. Let's do the same thing for availability.
Music licensing reimagined.
And a span here. It's gonna say profile dot time to play, and then we're gonna have this and say profile dot select the days. Cool. We can capitalize this. Nice.
Artlist.io.
Yeah. So this is pretty much what it's gonna look like. So if we make this bigger, we have this. We're gonna fix this because this shouldn't be this long. But yeah, this is pretty much the idea behind it. The more that populates, the smaller this becomes. So right now we only have this 2. So actually we're just gonna leave it at this. So we're gonna leave it at this this size. So if we have more than 3, this becomes smaller because it cuts it off. We have it as flex grow, so it cuts it off to accommodate for the other ones. So like I always say, you can make your own CSS for it. I'm just gonna keep it at this. There's no point of going further on the CSS for that.
Artlist.io.
So yeah, so now we're gonna get into, so in order to complete this, we're gonna have to do the thing everyone's been waiting for, which is the chat feature. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to work on our backend, on the backend in order to do that. And for the backend, we're gonna come
Music
right to
licensing
index.js.
reimagined.
We're gonna come right here, and this is where we're gonna be working on the so we're going to be using all this to create a WebSocket that will allow us show the people who are online. So actually let's see if this works. Name, age. Huh, this is not work. Oh, did I don't think I attached the
Artlist.io.
I did attach the on-change. So why is this not working? Okay, so that wasn't working because here we had, I just had to debug it. So here we had birth date with a capital D. This should be with a lowercase d. So birth date. So now that this is saved, if we come over to sort, as you can see, it's just the regular data. We come over to age. It's from the lowest to the highest. Rating 28.
Music licensing
The rating here is
reimagined.
3.5, 4.5. Gender, F comes before O. Availability. Okay, so availability is broken. So let's see why. Time to play is not defined on 6911. Okay, so let's head over to 69. Time to
Artlist.io.
play. Let's read this again. Time to play comparison. This is this. Time to play. Wait a minute. Wait, no, this should be comparison. Okay, so time to play comparison. So let's come back here and let's see availability. There we
Music
go.
licensing
So E
reimagined.
comes before M. Cool. I was like, what's going on here? Okay, so our sort works properly. So good thing we checked that before we moved on. So now we don't even have to worry about debugging that. So we're not done with hero page, but we have to create our WebSocket first. So let's go ahead and create our WebSocket. And then we'll be able to implement the online and our chat feature. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for part 5 of our match play app. So what we did today was just go through the hero page, controller, algorithm, and front end part. So what we're going to do on the next one is build out this backend interface, this backend for the WebSocket. So all we're doing in the next one is just building out the WebSocket for our chat and building out our chat interface. You guys get to see that on part 6, and that should be the end of it. So part 6 should be the finale for all of it. And if I did implement anything into my actual main project, then I'll incorporate that into the this tutorial. So with all that said, hope you guys are having a great time learning how to build this out with me, and I'll see you guys on part 6.
Artlist.io.
Peace.